for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Well, we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George in New York. I'm Bill Caligiero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're listening. Hope you're doing all right. Habba. Don't forget this show is being brought to you by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you're looking for a limo and you want a hot driver, look no further than Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. Give her a call, 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service should be our official limo service of this year's BillyCBoxing Hall of Fame induction weekend. We will be making a decision. The response hasn't been as great as we had hoped. We got a much bigger event going on and not as big of a response. So I'm going to be making a decision very quickly. I know it seems like it's a long way away, but if you're interested in going, now's the time to at least inquire, because I'm not going to waste everybody's time. Well, let's be real. We're not going to do it. So if you're going to go, drop us an email. If not, don't. That's all I can say. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. Tell her Billy C sent you. And don't forget, she's my girl. 202-351-7496. Show's also being brought to you in part by Camp Aaron Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That is Camp Aaron Tomkovich. 845-221-4099. Talk about hot babes in the office. As a matter of fact, I'm going to swing by the old office, so they can keep me out of trouble. I'm going to be there tomorrow. 845-221-4099. Camp Aaron Tomkovich, let them knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. And of course, my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Check it out, especially if you like hot babes in bikinis, because on Sundays and Mondays they got the volleyball going on out in the back. They got a full beach volleyball setup, so check that out. There's always drink specials every day of the week. There's always live entertainment on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And there's always great food and great people to hang out with. Give them a call if you want, 518-792-4869, or swing by. That's 518-792-4869. Don't forget, if you like wings and boneless wings, whatever, make sure you try the Billy C hot sauce. Make sure Craig makes it. 518-792-4869. And also the show's being brought to you in part by the Whitehall Athletic Club. If you're looking to join a athletic club, and it's in the mountains, and it's got boating and fishing and basketball in and outdoors, swimming in and outdoors, jacuzzis, weight room, all that happy stuff, including a full golf course. Well, look no further than the Whitehall Athletic Club. Check them out, www.whitehallathleticclub.com. All right, as usual, we're going to start off the show with the mailbag. We got several, because we haven't been here for a couple of days. I was down in Tampa doing a live broadcast. Another great show by Alessi Promotions. Thank those guys and gals, especially my girl Sandra, for having us out there. And I appreciate that. And look forward to the next show, which is scheduled for August 4th. So be looking forward to that. Let's see. Oh, programming note real quick. We will not, and I repeat, we will not be doing a live show this Wednesday, because it's the 4th of July, man. It's a holiday. I'm going to, be like everybody else and try and blow my hands apart with the fireworks and stuff. So make sure you're safe. But we will be here tomorrow and Thursday. So just Wednesday. So for all you non-United States people, too bad, man. It's our Independence Day, man. So we broke free from you guys now. But anyway, our first mailbag is from, our first email in our mailbag is from TKO Tony Z. Tony Z. I don't know. He says, a little too much unnecessary Floyd Mayweather Jr. bashing. It's pointless aside from the arbitrary remarks for boosting the ratings. What's with all this gangster talk? That is all for show, especially HBO's 24/7 for a villain persona. Well, Billy C, aside from my one complaint as a boxing fan, I like what you're doing. I don't want to disapprove too much. I should do the same one day, have my own boxing show. Well, TKO Tone Z, the bottom line is listen to a few more of my shows, and you'll understand that I'm not a big Floyd Mayweather fan. I give him credit for what he does in the ring, but can't stand him as a human being, and this show is based on opinions, and that's the way it is. As far as gangster talk, that was one episode. Obviously, that's the one you listened to, and the gangster talk was wannabe gangsters versus gangsters. But anyway, go back and listen to the show. You'll get that. I appreciate you liking the show. Hope you continue to listen. One word of advice. I know this one came from YouTube. And, as is the case with a lot of you YouTubers, yes, this is a show. This is not an amateur show. I'm not somebody that just wants to, dream and do a boxing show for shits and giggles. The bottom line is I've been doing this for 9 years. We're on television. We're on the radio. We just opened up to YouTube about 3.5 months ago, and we decided to use that as a vehicle. And what we've found is that there's a whole nother viewing audience under YouTube. It's like it's like a cult, a YouTube cult, and we're having a hard time with most of the YouTubers. I'm not saying you, TKO Tone Z, but a lot of the YouTubers are set in looking at 3 to 8 minute video clips, and I think it's just starting to come around. We're starting to pick up a lot of regular viewers now on YouTube that are watching the entire show, which obviously we have the data to prove that. So we're going to be sticking around YouTube. So all I can say is if somebody happens to be stumbling across YouTube and you don't have the attention power to hang around for 2 hours, you might as well leave now. But thanks, Tonesy. Hey, by the way, if you do want to do a show, man, good luck. It's not as easy as it seems. And we are the only daily boxing talk radio/TV show that's been going on for 9 years, 2 hours a day, and you got a lot of catching up to do. So, but it is fun if you can do it. Thanks for the email. Keep them coming. I love the interaction. My man, Giving Quality, he likes to interact. He says, I meant anyone who has a problem with them. He's referring to the Watson team, who's actually the face of Al Heyman. He says, I meant anyone who has a problem with them not singling you out, meaning me. He says, but you are the one who voiced the disgust with them always being around. I voiced the disgust with them always being around because I've received many, many emails about them. And, outside, when we're talking to other fans and stuff on site or whatever, they do come up. So it wasn't just me. Yes, I was the vehicle that voiced it, so you're right there. He says, if you can get front row anywhere, what fight are we going to next? If Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao ever happens, I want the other ticket. I'm going with you. He says, aged blue label on me. He says, first of all, let me just tell you, that's why I'm telling you that I don't get jealous, because I don't get tickets, Giving Quality. I get credentials. I get credentials, baby. No tickets, credentials, okay? So, that's what I'm saying. Just like the Watson twins or team, that little thing hanging around their neck, it's called a credential. And we don't need no stinking ticket. We got the credential, eh? But anyway, I would almost put my neck on the line just to hang out with you, Giving Quality. That ought to be fun. But he says Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Jones Jr. careers are much different. Haters just like to associate certain guys together because they were too good for their own good for so long, while the field was just not on their level. Now, the comparison with Roy Jones Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Was that they both had similar paths in choice opponents, okay? Meaning they handpicked their opponents. Floyd Mayweather definitely handpicked his opponents for years and years and years. I guess you could argue that he's not doing that now. He's fighting who he's got to fight now. The pickings are slim. Roy Jones Jr. did it for his entire career. But I'm not knocking either one of their abilities. I love Roy Jones Jr., the young Roy Jones Jr., and I can certainly appreciate Floyd Mayweather's talent inside the ring. See, the big difference between Roy and Floyd, in my opinion, is outside the ring. Roy Jones Jr. may have had a persona of, being conceited and thinking he's the best and everything else, but he didn't overdo it. I never disliked him as a human being. As a matter of fact, I can tell that he's a good guy. As far as Floyd Mayweather goes, I honestly never met Floyd, but if I had to take a guess, I would assume he's just the way he acts. If he's not, well, that's my mistake. So anyway, hey, listen, I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I got a couple more emails. I got a lot of more emails.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the ideal computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the #15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the #15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOBoxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're probably watching a replay on LDL TV, maybe YouTube. Hey, don't forget, man, Talking New York Sports with Billy C and Brooklyn Mike. Yes, that's right. For all you sports fans, maybe outside of the sport of boxing, you've asked for it. Well, we're going to be giving to you starting the first Saturday after the All-Star break, Major League Baseball's All-Star break, which is a couple weeks, I think. Make sure you tune in on Saturdays. We're going to have Talking New York Sports with Billy C. and Brooklyn Mike. Check out the website, www.BillyCBoxing.com. You'll see a Talking New York Sports section. Check it out. And we'll have all the info there. Right now, we got the logo up. And it's coming soon. So check it out, man. Hopefully you can join us. Brooklyn Mike knows his stuff. He's been doing this, and we plan to have some good times talking New York sports. But anyway, right now we're talking about the emails in our mailbag. Given Quality says, hey, Billy C., your boy 50 Cent got his tattoos removed. Call him up and ask him about the pain and get a Floyd Mayweather update. He says, here's a guy, 50 Cent, right? Well, let me rephrase that. 50 Cent. Here's a guy that should really go in public. Given Qualities, thinks it's funny, which it is kind of funny that he's mentioning it, but he should go public and make sure that a lot of young people understand that, a tattoo, think about it before you put one on, because if you ever change your mind, it is a painful procedure to remove, and they're permanent, man. Plus, they're identifiers. That's another story. But anyway, he says, Ali only fought the 12th round with that broken jaw. Or like Billy C, Billy C likes to say jaw, but you're making fun of the way I talk. Given Quality's an Italian hater. He's a hater. He thinks I'm a hater. He's a hater. But he says, let's not get carried away. Hey, man, anybody that fights a minute with a broken jaw, I got to give credit to. So I'm not going to knock how many rounds anybody fought with a broken jaw or a broken hand or whatever. So that's a tough one, man. He says Ortiz had too much of a layoff and he was really rusty in the ring. And when he was coming forward, he had his hands up. And then for some reason, when he was backing up or just trying to defend, he had his hands down far too often. Canelo was about to duck Lara for the 4th time in a month. I don't know why Canelo would duck Lara. Lara is yes, he's a we're going to get into that fight in a little bit, but he's a sharpshooter. Lara's a guy that's pretty accurate, but he doesn't throw a lot of punches. And Canelo's got a solid defense, man. So I don't know. I think that's the matchup. I really do. I think that's the one that we should see. Tell you the truth. And to be honest with you, Canelo steals a victory from Lara if Lara doesn't throw more punches. But anyway, and you're right, given Quality about the hands up and down. Too many fighters keep their hands down today. I did the TV and webcast for a show down in Florida over the weekend, and I can't tell you how many young fighters go in there, and they emulate the Floyd Mayweathers and the Roy Jones Jr.'s, and it's such a bad thing to do. I mean, Floyd Mayweather can get away with it because of his hand speed, his defensive prowess, and all that stuff. But the bottom line is young fighters shouldn't emulate that. You got to keep your hands up, man. And I hate to say this, but look at Saul Alvarez. Canelo's technically sound. I've said it a million times. His hands are up. He delivers his punches straight. He delivers a jab. His right hand is still up. He throws the right hand. His left hand's blocking him. That's the way you want to do it. Given Quality's last thought here, it's the same day weigh-ins, Billy C. That's crazy that Jose Sulaiman finally is doing something right to further protect the fighters. Can't believe it. Chavez Jr.'s in trouble now. Let's see if this gets overlooked in the Chavez Jr. Sergio fight. Well, let's see if this is the reason for the fight not to occur. Can't say anything negative about crazy Jose on this one. No, if he truly follows through it, you can't. But thanks for the emails, Given Quality. Keep them coming. My man Hanging Fire is in the chat room by himself. The chat room really, this summer months, man, I know people are doing a lot of stuff, and it typically slows down in the summer. People up late, can't get up in the morning. So anyway, Raymex27 says, I don't know what Josito's doing with those group of guys. I'm not sure what those black guys have to do with Thompson Promotions, which is Josito's promoter, but he needs to get out of there as soon as possible. If possible, you should go Golden Boy Top Rank. Great show, by the way. Thanks, Raymex. The thing is in case you missed it, those black guys you're referring to are part of the Al Heyman team. It's the Watson family. The hang-up that I have is that they're always putting their face in front of the camera. I have no problem with any fighter working with them, black, white, Hispanic, yellow, green. I don't care. It has nothing to do with that. But for me, I think it's classless that people are trying to get their faces in the camera. I think it's terrible. The cameraman should be looking at the fighters and the ring card girls. That's it. That's it. But Raymex, thanks for your comments. Keep them coming. 22 Yawaka 22. I don't know, man. 22 and a whole bunch of wakas and a waka. I don't know, 22. He says, this is concerning the Pacquiao Bradley fight. He says, only the blind people had Bradley winning. He says, first I scored it 118-110 for Pacquiao, which was the same way I scored it. He said, then I watched it with no sound, and I scored it 116-112 for Pacquiao. Okay, so you admit that the fight was a little closer without the sound. Yes, the commentating is pretty partial, especially HBO. They're awful. They're awful. So, but anyway, thanks for the email. I agree. I think for the most part, everybody thinks that Pacquiao won the fight, except for those three judges. Sky A says, Billy C., I love your show. Don't see a point for another Bradley Pac-Man rematch. I'd rather pay to see Amir Khan and Bradley. That's a good one, man. That's a good one, Sky Ace. I'd like to see Amir Khan fight Bradley. You know, I think Amir Khan has to worry about his next fight first against Danny Garcia, but I would like to see Amir Khan against Bradley. There's no question about that. He says, and then the Pacquiao rematch. I have a feeling we're going to see. I think we're going to see Manny Pacquiao fight Juan Manuel Marquez first, and then Bradley. I don't know if we're going to see Bradley fight before the Pacquiao rematch. I think that they're going to cite his broken feeties as an issue. And don't forget, Bob Arum has Bradley signed. So we could see the changing of the guard here. Manny Pacquiao's only got a couple of more fights left. He's losing interest. He clearly is losing interest. So I think that if we do see a Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, numero cuatro, then you will see the rematch with Bradley. And should Bradley beat him again, whether he really beats him or whether the judges give it to him, that'll probably be the end for Pacquiao. If Pacquiao loses to Juan Manuel Marquez, the fourth fight, that'll be the end of Pacquiao. Either way, I think Bob Arum's got to keep Timothy Bradley on hold, because that's his new cash cow between him and Jesse Vargas, I think. But anyway, he goes on to say, we all know Pac won the fight. Floyd and Pacquiao not fighting is ridiculous. These guys can always rematch each other and make twice the money. The only way to bring back Manny's aggression is for him to fight Floyd, which I don't disagree with you here, Sky. He says a reason why is because these guys will fight each other to the death just to prove to the world who the pound-for-pound king of this generation. I think both of the fighters, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, would give us their best performances against each other. There's no question. But great point, Sky Ace. I agree with you. Bazooka, man. Bazooka Ike says, Roy Jones is hurting for the money. I don't know why he's still fighting, though. I can't believe that he's getting paid enough for it to be worthwhile. I read someplace that he's getting $200,000 a year to commentate for HBO. That sounds a lot better than getting knocked out. Let's just say that. Getting knocked out for chump change. If he's making $200,000 a year for a couple of episodes on HBO, I agree with you 100%. I don't know. He's we'll have to wait and see there. Bazooka Ike goes on to say, "Hey Billy, we need to really push for this fight between you and Jim Gray. You should ask the listeners of the show for promotional ideas. We need a name for the event, the venue, etc. I suggest you have Pete Rose as one of your cornermen." Hey, man, I'm willing to fight him, but I'm not going to be pushing the issue. If somebody wants it, they can come to me. I would love to fight him. I can't stand him, and having Pete Rose in my corner would be a blessing. I think that would be great. I tell you what, I think, honestly, I can't believe that I'm alone in my dislike for Jim Gray. I mean, he's a classless piece of garbage, in my opinion. But Bazooka Ike, thanks for the comments. My man Hanging Fire says, what do you think happens when Arum dies? He's in his 80s. Yeah, he is in his 80s. I think he just turned 80, actually. It's gonna happen sooner or later. I think there's gonna be a changing of the guard. I think that his son-in-law is gonna take over, and we may even see some continuity, some working relationships with Golden Boy and even Mayweather Promotions. So, right now Bob Arum is a guy that's basically saying, "Hey, it's my baseball. I get to pitch," and he's right. So. And Hanging Fire says, yeah, welcome back. Hey, thanks, Hanging Fire, thanks. Castle Hill Gill says, Billy, who the hell is Canelo going to fight? Do you have an inside scoop by any chance? Personally, I want to see him fight Lara. I heard that Trout's no longer being considered because he wants VADA testing. Actually, that's incorrect. Trout is not going to be considered because the WBC said no. And the reason why they said no is because they don't want any unification. I'm going to get to that a little later, and that's the reason why I can't stand the WBC. Last week, week before, I was giving them kudos for some of their ideas, but man, they're trying to separate themselves from the rest of the sport. Here we are. We want to consolidate and unify titles, and they're refusing to do that. Why? Because they think they're the only title, and the more juice we give them, the more power we give them. To do these kinds of things where they are turning down a legitimate fight. I don't know. He goes on to say, I don't want to see Canine fight Canelo. Neither do I. Canine Bundridge, first of all, Spinks is shot. Corey Spinks is done. Canine Bundridge is a one-dimensional fighter. He charges in all the time. He doesn't show me anything. Basically, he was winded. If Corey Spinks didn't have a suspect chin, which he proved to us in the first fight and this one, then he could have outboxed this guy. Canelo Alvarez against Canine is not a competitive fight. Saul Alvarez beats him every day of the week. You're right, though. That's probably going to be the one to see. I would like to see him fight Lara as well. I think Canelo's got a good chance against both of them. Castle Hill Gill says, how about Alvarado, Quintana, Vanis Marsan, or even Alfredo Angulo? Who would you like to see him fight out of the ones I mentioned, or do you have any suggestions? Alfredo Angulo, that'd be a decent fight, but it would have to be in Mexico. I think he got deported or something. He had a problem with his visa. Vanis Marcian, that'd be competitive. Quintana, I don't want to see him fight. Alvarado, he's a come-at-you fighter, one-dimensional. He's similar to Kanon, but he's conditioned a little better. At this point, they got to do something. He says it would be. He said it would be nice to see Cotto take the fight. I think Miguel can Vargas him. And what he says is, what I mean by Vargas is what Tito Trinidad did to Fernando Vargas. I think Canelo is just a little too green for Miguel at this point. Oscar and Schaefer would not let Cotto kneel Saul just yet. Break a leg in Tampa. Well, yeah, I guess you wrote this before I left. Here's the thing. I loved Fernando Vargas, and they clearly rushed him along. I like the comparison, but I think Canelo. First of all, Cotto is towards the end of his career. I think when Trinidad fought Fernando, he was really totally in his prime. I don't know if we could say that about Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto's got some bigger fish to fry in December, from what I understand. We'll be getting to that in a second. Hey, I got to take a break. I'm way over. We'll be right back.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretch of that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. from upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.kofantasyboxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.kofantasyboxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.kofantasyboxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C., damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's the problem?
Billy
What?
C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask you.
Wrong speech.
Leave.
What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C. show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. That's right, man. I want to welcome the Fight Now audience. Just join us like they do Monday through Friday from 6 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern. If you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, then you need to call your local television provider, whether it's cable or satellite, and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added. It's that simple. Just pick up the phone and call them. For all the information about the channel, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. We're still reading some emails out of the mailbag. We're a little over full since we played hooky a couple of days last week. I want to thank Castle Hill Gill for his emails and bringing up Fernando Vargas. I used to love Fernando Vargas. They really fed him to the wolves a little too early. It's a shame. It's a shame. He could have been one of the great ones, really. And many people think he already was. So, Hawk, my man Hawk says George Zimmerman was a clear case of self-defense. Martin's husband has no case. No, he didn't. He didn't. Ortiz showed a solid heart in that fight. We should not question his heart. We should question his defense. I agree with that. Excuse me. His heart. I really think people are a little too hard on Victor Ortiz. I questioned his heart after the Marcus Medina fight. And I said this last week. Anybody that says, "Oh, no one should take a beating like that," no one that's not a professional fighter. A professional fighter is supposed to take a beating. But when it comes to breaking your hands, breaking your jaw, breaking your leg, breaking your eye socket, all these, even breaking your nose, it all becomes a matter of, what that fighter can withstand himself or herself. And then you really can't criticize. Now, some of the argument is, well, they're the ones that are getting paid for the money. They need to be able to do that. That's what they sign up for. That's a matter of opinion. Yes, I think fighters should fight through certain amount of pain, and I think that they should, definitely, especially broken nose or something, a bad cut or something like that. But when it comes to a broken jaw, depending upon how it's broken and which spot of your jaw it's broken, and I think that what Hawk says here is the key, because Victor Ortiz's defense was so bad. I think that he wasn't able to protect himself. And Josito Lopez, who incidentally is like the new star, he's been on every single television broadcast, and who. Come on, man. I want credit. Very rarely do I demand credit. Very rarely do I act like Lennox Lewis or Larry Holmes and demand credit. But come on, man. Josito Lopez, you go back 2 years and listen to my show. I've been telling you how great Josito Lopez is and that he's the poster child for blue-collar fighters, and I wish more fighters were like him and blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden these guys are jumping on the bandwagon? Come on, man. Somebody's got to stick up for me. Jeez. Anyway, Hawk says, I think Lopez was a better boxer than the fans thought. I don't know about better boxer to the degree or definition of a boxer like the sweet science. Floyd Mayweather, he's a boxer, but he does show heart, and he's a tough SOB. And he's a hard out, man. I mean, you're not going to discourage Josito Lopez, So I just think that the lack of his popularity and the lack of – and someone, one of the earlier emailers said about Thompson, Thompson Promotion. Thompson is that guy. You see him in the background a lot of time. He's wearing the 1972 big old glasses. And he's about 150 years old, and he's always clapping like this. He's always clapping like that. And he's a guy that really loves himself. I mean, if you've ever talked to him, he's a guy that thinks that, he's in huge demand in his fighters. Now, he happens to be one of the promoters that Josito Lopez has signed, but I guarantee you he's going to co-promote with somebody. Somebody's going to pick him up. If Golden Boy hasn't already got some options on him, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, Hawk goes on to say, I hear Ortiz fought 3 or 4 rounds with the broken jaw. I heard Ali broke his jaw in the final round. Yes, that's true. But all I can say is breaking the jaw is breaking the jaw is breaking the jaw. It hurts. He says, Oscar versus Gennaro Hernandez. I'm sorry. Gennaro Hernandez quit in the second round because his nose was broken. People said he had no heart. That was BS. Gennaro Hernandez fought with heart always. Boxing fans are ruthless. They want to see, it's like the gladiator days, It's like the days when they used to, have a guy fight a lion, and they wanted to see the guy get ripped apart by the lion, or vice versa, I mean, we're vicious at times, He says it seems that all 3 of Floyd's USADA testing results were all negative, and they did not have an issue. I wonder why Floyd didn't want to flaunt them and brag about his negative drug test. As much as I dislike Floyd, if he would have done that, I think it would have made more people think that he was doing something illegal. I think by Floyd keeping his mouth shut about the negative tests was a cool thing for him to do. And that's very, very rarely do I get to say that Floyd acted with some class. And I think he acted with some class here. So great point, Hawk. And finally, one last email. And this is from my man Bigaback. Bigaback says, Donaire had a 30-minute interview where he called out everybody and their mothers. Oh, everybody and their mothers. From bantamweight to lightweight, but never mentioned Rigondeaux and avoided talking about him. He probably has nightmares of Rigo beating him up, then taking his wife. Lara has the same problem with Golden Boy Productions and Canelo. What's up with these Cubans getting denied their opportunity like they do in Cuba? Here's the thing. I believe that Nonito Donaire is overrated. I think that he was fantastic in the lower weight classes. I haven't seen anything lately that suggests he's just as good as he was. He claims he's not interested. He's not. I think he's a problem child. And what I mean by that, not by training or anything like that, but he thinks who he is. Remember something. He signed when he was still under contract, right? With Golden Boy. Then didn't they have to leave him? He's with Top Rank, right? So, he was with Top Rank. First of all, let's go back. He's with his father, his own father. And then he kind of screwed his father, right? Leaves his father. Then he signs with Top Rank, and then says he's not with Top Rank, signs with Golden Boy. And then Top Rank sues him, and they had the contract in place, so Golden Boy had to give him up, and he's back with Top Rank, and everything's cool. I mean, I just think that he's, I don't know. I haven't seen, his last couple of performances haven't been that great. So, we'll have to wait and see. And I agree with Bigaback. Guillermo Ringda, that's the fight. He should fight him. As far as Lara and Canelo, I think that will be the fight. I think Lara could have been playing a little bit of possum on Saturday night. He didn't overwhelmingly beat his opponent, but and as a matter of fact, we can get to that. Thanks for the emails. So we'll get into the fight results right now. From Saturday, K9 Bundridge, that's Cornelius K9 Bundridge, knocks out Corey Spinks in the 7th round. It was officially 1 minute and 41 seconds of the, was it 1 minute and 41 seconds? I believe it was. I got my times wrong. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 minutes and 32 seconds of the 7th round. And this time, I think there was no doubt. Here's the thing. I thought that K9 was very wild in this fight. I think he ran out of gas in this fight. And I just think that Corey Spinks' chin was suspect. And Corey Spinks, his corner's begging him to open up and to let his hands go. And when he did, he landed. It's just, fighters that fight with too much caution, they're becoming extinct because we're seeing a 39-year-old like K9 Bundridge bombs away, just winging punches, and he knocks out Spinks. So, the thing about Spinks is, how can you not like this kid when he says at the end, my stuff just wasn't coming off right. He says, the best man won tonight, and I got to take my hat off to him. Well, what else can you say? I mean, he's saying he tried, and that's it. No, he was on this show a couple weeks ago, and you can go back and play that interview if you want under the hot interview sections at BillyCBoxing.com. And he was very respectful. He said he's having the best camp. He's got no excuses if he loses. As far as K9, he said it took a while for me to get going. He says it felt like I was going to get him. You can't stand up to the fire. Or you can't stand up to all that fire. K9, you're full of BS. All right? You know why? Because it took you that long to get going. You were huffing and puffing after the 3rd round. So I don't know, man. I think he's grossly overrated. Urslandi Lara won a 10-round unanimous decision over Freddie Hernandez to improve to 17-1-1 with 11 knockouts. He definitely didn't throw as many punches. I don't care what the statistics show. He didn't throw as many punches. Freddie Hernandez was clearly throwing more punches. But when Lara landed, he landed flush, busted up Freddie's face. Now, some of those shots were from his head, but, and he wasn't doing it on purpose. When he comes in, I know that one headbutt looked like, he launched himself, but he didn't. He put his head down. He puts his gloves up and he puts his head down. And when you're fighting a guy that's taller than you, like Freddie Hernandez was, and he's coming forward and you're coming forward, and he's trying to protect himself like that, your heads are gonna butt. I mean, it's gonna happen. Now is it right? No. I just don't know if it was intentional. If it is, and the thing is, anybody that throws an intentional headbutt runs a risk of cutting their own head. The only difference is when you hit it on the top of your head, it's a cut that's not going to bother you as much as landing in the face of the other one. But I don't know. I think Urslandi Lara should have won him a shot, should have gotten himself a shot against Saul Alvarez, but we'll have to wait and see. As far as Freddie Hernandez, he was impressive. I enjoyed watching him fight. He drops to 30 wins, 3 losses. He does have 20 of his wins coming by knockout and 1 no decision. The way the judges scored it was 99 to 90, 98 91, 95 94. And, I thought it was a little closer. I thought it was not 95-94, but maybe 96-93. I thought some of those early rounds you had to give to Freddie Hernandez. Larry wasn't doing anything, So anyway, Gary Russell was on the card, and he stopped Christopher Perez in round number 3 at 1 minute 41 seconds. I knew there was a 1 minute and 41 second knockout. Christopher Perez was not in the same class. Gary Russell Jr., it's time for him to step up. He's 20 wins, no losses, 12 of his wins come by knockout. He didn't seem to be hurting Perez, but the speed of his hands were dropping Perez. That's what I saw. Perez drops to 23 wins, 3 losses, 14 of his wins come by knockout. By the way, I didn't give you the update on records for Corey Spinks and K9 Bundridge. K9 now improved to 32 wins, 4 losses, 19 knockouts. And Corey Spinks loses for the 7th time in his career. He's 39-7 right now. So I'll give you an update on those. Some other fights that were on that card. Well, at least one other fight in a non-televised match. In an 8-round welterweight fight, Antonio Orozco improved to 15-0 when he won a TKO when he stopped Albert Cruz after the 3rd round. Cruz drops to 9 wins and 4 losses, with 8 of his wins coming by knockout. We talked about Roy Jones Jr. earlier, and once again, Roy Jones kissed the canvas. That's right, he got knocked down again. But won the fight. He won the fight. It was in the cruiserweight division. 43-year-old Roy Jones Jr. improved to 56 wins, 8 losses. 40 of his wins coming by knockout. He won a 10-round split decision over previously ranked by the WBC in the top 10 light heavyweight Paul Glazwiski. And Glazwiski was the substitute for his original opponent, who was in jail. That's right. They didn't let him out. So Roy Jones improved to 56-8, and Glazwiski dropped to 17-1, losing for the first time. The way the judges scored it, 96-93, 96-94, both in favor of Jones, and 95-94 for Glazwiski. Jones, I thought, squeaked it out. I watched the fight. I thought he squeaked it out. The guy that was supposed to fight Jones, who I don't know if Jones would have beat, but David Kostecki or David Kostecki or Daud Kostecki. Bottom line is he's still in jail. The heavyweight, who I thought was a little overrated, maybe he's not. Artur Spizlitka improved to 12-0 when he won. When he beat Jamal McCline, who drops to 41 wins, 12 losses, and 3 draws. It was a 10-round decision. The way the judges had it, I don't have the official scores. Sorry, don't have them. Thought I did, but I don't. But my man, former undisputed lightweight champ Nate Campbell, he improved to 36 wins, 9 losses, and a draw when he won an 8-round decision over Krzysztof Zot, who drops to 16-3 with a draw. And I told you that Nate was going to beat this kid. I knew he looked good. And from what I understand, I was talking about this over the weekend, Nate might have just got himself in line for another title shot. So 40 years old, Nate, congratulations, my man. And then also on the card, former world welterweight title challenger Rafael Jakiewicz improved to 42 wins, 10 losses, and a draw when he won a 10-round unanimous decision over Luca Michael Pasqua, who dropped to 16-5-1. He's ranked in the top 10 by a couple of the sanctioning bodies, so we'll see what happens there. Some other fights Saturday night. Lightweight prospect Michael D'Artiste Perez made quick work of Eric Cruz. As a matter of fact, it took about a little less than 2 rounds because 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the second round, the fight was stopped. And the Artiste, he improves to 16 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, with 10 of his wins coming by KO. The co-main event, that featured Jeff Fontes, and he scored a first-round knockout over his opponent at 2 minutes and 31 seconds. And the body shots is what did his unnamed opponent in. 2-time world champion in 2 different divisions, Christian Mahares improved to 46 wins, 6 losses, and a couple of draws. 21 of his wins come by knockout when he won a 10-round decision of Esbio Oso in a super bantamweight match in Mexico. All 3 judges saw the fight the same, 97-92 in favor of Mahares. Now Mahares is calling for all the world titles. He wants to fight everybody that's got a belt because he wants a belt. He wants his belt back. Also on Saturday, Marco Antonio Rubio improved to 54 wins, 6 losses, and a draw when he scored a 7th-round knockout over Jorge Cota, who had previously been unbeaten. Cota loses for the first time in his career now. He's 12 wins and a loss, 11 wins come by knockout. That took place in Mexico. Rubio just put on a clinic, outboxed, and methodically just beat him up. That's the way it was. 1 minute, 49 seconds of the 7th, and the win gave Rubio some bogus belt that the IBF was giving him, and this was his first fight since he lost to the monster himself, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in February. Also on that card, in the junior welterweight division, Robert Massa Ortiz improved to 25-0 with 21 knockouts when he stopped Abraham Gomez in the 5th round. And Gomez drops to 22 wins, 4 losses, and 8 of his wins come by knockout. We also had some other fights on Friday, like Friday night fights. That's right. Reynoso. You know, I thought Jose Reynoso was going to give Ruslan Prododnikov a much better fight, but nay. Prododnikov took care of Reynoso pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, he won at 1 minute and 52 seconds of the, I believe it was the second round. 1 minute and 52 seconds of the second round. It was scheduled for 10. And, I tell you, this kid, I like Prododnikov. He improved to 22 wins and a loss with 15 wins coming by knockout. And Reynoso drops to 16-4 with a draw and 3 knockouts. Prododnikov is a good fighter. The only problem with him is he's got no defense. You say to yourself, I wonder how he would fight against Kelly Pavlik. Now, Kelly Pavlik's making his comeback. As a matter of fact, he might even be fighting this weekend. That's right, he is, as a matter of fact. He's fighting this weekend. It was a quick, I'm going to get into that in a little bit. From his last fight, he had an opportunity. He's coming right back. I think that Prododnikov is ready to. I'd like to see him fight a guy like Pavlik and see exactly where he is. He virtually comes in. You call it the lobster, the way he comes in with his hands, and I'm not sure. He would do well. Against a taller guy that can box and keep him at bay. Now, Jose Reynoso was taller, and Prododnikov overpowered him, but he's not. Come on, he's not as experienced as some of these other fighters that he could possibly face. Anyway, also on the ESPN card, super bantamweight, Christopher Martin took out Roberto Castaneda in the 6th round of a scheduled 8-rounder. This was a good fight while it lasted. I thought it was a very entertaining fight. Christopher Martin, he's landed some solid body shots on other opponents before. This was a kid that came off a really subpar performance in his last outing, but seemed to be coming up with some hard shots. This is a guy that's not known for knockout punches. He had lost 3 fights in a row, and actually he lost 2 fights in a row, and he had a draw with one of them. But the fight was officially stopped at 2 minutes and 31 seconds of the 6th round, and we had Christopher Martin improving to 24 wins, a couple losses, 3 draws, 7 of his wins coming by knockout. Again, this was only his 7th knockout, and Castaneda loses for only the 2nd time in his career. He's now 19 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, with 14 of his wins coming by knockout. Angel Asuna, he won a 6-round unanimous decision over Deshaun Johnson. These 2 guys clearly proved why they still need a lot more fights to polish their game. Asuma improves to 8 wins, 3 losses, and a draw, with 4 of his wins coming by knockout. And Deshaun Johnson drops to 13, 6, and 3. All 3 judges all 3 judges scored it at 60-54 in favor of Usna. Also on the card are Aaron Aspedado and Daniel Martinez, fought to a 4-round draw. I thought this was the most entertaining fight of the night, aside from the Christopher Martin fight. I loved seeing these 2 guys bang it out. And as soon as the fight was done, I said, I bet you it's a draw, and that's the way it turned. One judge scored it 39-37 in favor of Martinez, and the other 2 had it 38-38. Aspedado, and he's reckoned now as 1-0 with a draw with 1 knockout, and Martinez was making his pro debut, so he's 0-0-1. Oscar Goody won a 4-round unanimous decision over Roberto Crespo, and Goody basically controlled the fight from start to finish. He improved to 7-2 with 3 knockouts, and we got Crespo dropping to 4-2. The way the judges saw it, one judge had it 39-37, and the other 2 had it for 40-36, all in favor of Oscar Godoy in that one, in the welterweight division. And in the last fight I want to talk about before we take a break, we had Lizette Medell won a 6-round unanimous decision over Tatiana Anderson. These 2 fighters landed some great punches in the female division. The way the judges scored it when it was all over was 58-56, 59-55, and 60-54, all in favor of Lizette Medell, who improves to 7 wins, a loss, and a draw. And her opponent, Tatiana Anderson, drops to 5 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 4 of her wins coming by knockout. Hey, man, I got to take a break. When I come back, we have a couple of more fights. One took place in Providence, Rhode Island, and then I'm going to talk about the one I covered in Tampa, all coming up in about 2.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Beat Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh?
What? We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Whoa!
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel, and if you don't have the Fight Now television channel on your sports channel lineup, then you need to call your local TV provider, whether it's satellite dish or cable, and tell them you want Fight Now right now. It's that simple. Don't forget, every night is Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, for the latest listings. Plus, to find out everything you need to know about the channel, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. On Friday, in Rhode Island, I was about to call him Eric Estrada. You know, the guy from Chips, but anyway, no, not Bag-O Chips. It used to be a show. Half you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Jason Big Six Estrada won an 8-round decision over Alex Gonzalez as the main event in a fight card that took place in Providence. He improves to 19 wins, 4 losses, 5 of his wins coming by knockout, and Gonzalez drops to 20 wins, 7 losses with 10 knockouts. Here's the thing. Jason Estrada is a bum. I'll tell you what, Adrian, he's a bum. The thing is this. I don't think he really wants to fight. This guy fights with no urgency. He just, he throws punches like he's wondering what he's going to be doing afterwards or what he's going to have for breakfast. Or he's a guy, I don't know why they call him Big Six. He's not very big, and he doesn't knock anybody out. I don't know, man. He'll beat me. He'll beat me up, but, and he says he's ready for he thinks he's ready for a title. He says, I thought it was a good performance. The dude can take a shot. He's referring to his opponent. He says, once I realized he wouldn't go, I boxed his head off. I hurt my little thumb a bit. So I boxed and used my jab. They asked him, what's next for you? He says, I want Tony Grano. Let's give that a shot. I've been trying to get him in the ring for a long time. Tony Grano, you know what? I would like to see Jason Estrada fight Tony Grano. I want to see somebody that's got a pulse fight Tony Grano and just get rid of him. Get rid of him. Tony Grano's a fraud. Anyway, the former USBA and NBO middleweight champ, Brian the Bull Barbosa, who's got a record of 31 wins, 6 losses, 23 of his wins coming by knockout. Knocked out John Rusty Johnson, who was a little rusty himself, in the 5th round to improve to 31-6. Also, junior welterweight Diego Pereira improved to 7-0 with a draw when he took out William Correa via a 2nd round TKO. Correa drops to 9-6, and in the junior lightweight division, a local kid who had many people out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, were waiting for him to turn pro. Well, Toka Can Clary turned pro on this card, and he took out Jonathan Cabane with a body shot in round number 1 to give his pro debut a win by knockout in round 1. Junior welterweight Yahar Ramos improved to 3-0 with a couple of knockouts when he stopped Joel Alaron in the 3rd round. Junior middleweight Callie Reese improved her record to 5 wins and a loss with a draw, taking a 4-round decision over Lanisha Jefferson. And Jesus Cintron, he won his first fight to improve to 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. Hey, 1-1-1 over Ronell Shelton in a 4-rounder. Now, the card I called, and hopefully you tuned in and listened to it or watched it. Yes, it was a webcast pay-per-view. You guys know I am not a big fan of webcast pay-per-views unless it's a world title fight. This particular card was not a world title card. I don't know what they were charging, but I hope you tuned in. It was an entertaining card, that's for sure. In the main event, there was a title on the line, the NBA Junior Intercontinental Flyweight title, which incidentally was kind of strange because both of these fighters weighed in at bantamweight. The flyweight, I think, was 112. Was supposed to be a 112 max. They both weighed in at 117, and that makes it a bantamweight fight as far as I was concerned. But the NBA approved the fight. Jose Rivera came from New York, with a record of 3 wins, 5 losses, and a couple of draws, no knockouts. And he took on Ray Dominguez, who's a hot prospect out of Dallas, Texas, fights for the Alessi team. Here's the thing. Jose Rivera, one tough SOB with no power. If this kid had some pop behind his punches, he could easily have 5 wins and 3 losses and 2 draws, or he could have all wins. He's a come-at-you guy, very exciting to watch. Now, Ray Dominguez, he's got all kinds of hand speed. This kid, he throws punches that you don't see coming from all angles, everything else. But he couldn't stop Jose Rivera, but nonetheless, he won the fight. All 3 judges scored at the same 78-74 in favor of Ray Dominguez. I, too, scored at 78-74 in favor of Dominguez, who improves to 8-0 with 3 knockouts. He's now the NBA Junior Intercontinental champion in the flyweight division. Jose Rivera drops to 3-6-2. I spoke with his camp after the fight, and they said, they got one more fight, and if they don't win that one, they're going to hang it up. And it's a shame because Chile, they call Jose Rivera Chile, he was looking good. Now, in the co-main event, Silky Wilkie Camford, one of the hottest looking young prospects I've seen in a long time in the junior middleweight division. He improved to 11-1 with 5 knockouts of the Javeli Balagu, who came from Lomé, Togo. And this was a really good fight. As a matter of fact, Wilkie has never been down in his career and was never hurt until this fight. He got a shot in that fight that I honestly didn't think. I didn't think it landed that hard, but apparently it landed, knocked his equilibrium out. We watched him fall into the ropes and then basically hold on for that round and the next round. And afterwards, I spoke with Wilkie, and he said the same thing. Man, I was hurt. He says my legs weren't there. He says I did all I could do to stay up. And I think if Balagu had a little more pop behind his punches, he would have finished him off, but he didn't. And at times he was slapping his punches. But nonetheless, Wilkie won the fight, improved to 11-1 with 5 knockouts. The way the judges scored it, 59-55 twice and 58-57 once. Then we had a bunch of smaller fights, 4-rounders in the welterweight division. Clarence Booth took care of DeVars Creighton at 1 minute and 12 seconds of the first round. Clarence Booth improves to 5-0 with 4 knockouts, and Creighton drops to 7-14 with a couple of draws. This was a weird fight, and I'll tell you why. Creighton looked like he wanted no part of Clarence Booth. As a matter of fact, he had that look just before the first bell rang. He had that look of, no, I don't want to go out there, boss. I don't want to go out there. And I'll tell you what, he just did not want to be there. And Clarence Booth took it to him 1 minute, 12 seconds of the round. So first round. So that was the end of that. Round number 2, in the lightweight division, Amos Cowart improved to 5-0 with 4 knockouts when he stopped Richard Pitt out of the Bahamas at 2 minutes and 28 seconds of round number 2. Pitt drops to 4-10 with a knockout, and he was busted up pretty bad from that shot. As a matter of fact, I saw him afterwards, and he was still holding ice on his head long after the fights were over. In the welterweight division, Yarrow Martinez out of San Antonio, Texas, and Tommy Bryant out of Naples, Florida. This was a strange one. Tommy Bryant came out. First of all, Tommy Bryant looked like he was in much better shape. Now, he went into this fight with 2 wins, 7 losses, and a couple of draws. Looked like he was in much better shape. Came out like a gangbuster. Yarrow Martinez, on the other hand, was dry and just started off slow. And if you look at him, he was soft, man. He looked like he could have lost 10 pounds. I mean, really. And he was a small guy to begin with. But as the fight went on, it got pretty heated. And when the 4 rounds were over, one judge scored it for Tommy Bryant at 40-36. Another judge scored it for Yarrow Martinez at 39-37, while the third had it as a draw with 38-38. Therefore, the fight was ruled a draw. Yarrow Martinez drops or improves to, however you want to look at, 3-0-1, and Tommy Bryant 2-7-3. And I'll bet you these guys rematch on the next Alessi card, which is scheduled for August 3rd. In the super middleweight division, in a 4-rounder, Marquise Davis won a 4-round decision over Joseph Benjamin, and this was actually an entertaining fight. Benjamin went into this fight as a huge underdog with a record of 3 wins, 20 losses, and a couple of draws with only 3 knockouts. And Marquise Davis, he went into the fight as a power puncher, 5 wins, no losses, 2 draws, 4 of his wins come by knockout. And when it was all over, the way the 3 judges scored it was all in favor of Marquise Davis. 2 of them had it at 40-36, 1 had it at 39-37. But Marquise Davis, his problem in this fight was that he was fighting like it was a 10-round fight. You know, he just didn't step on the gas until midway through the 2nd round, and was playing, in my opinion, was playing catch-up. Joseph Benjamin survived the fight, and therefore Marquise Davis did not get the knockout. In the junior middleweight division, there was an 8-rounder. Marcus Willis won an 8-round unanimous decision over Ashanti Hendrickson, who was out of Florida. This was a pretty decent fight. Ashanti Henderson had double-digit losses, and Marcus Willis clearly fought the most experienced fighter of his career to improve to 12 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws with 3 knockouts. The way the judges scored that one, 78-74, 79-73, and 80-72, all in favor of Marcus Willis in the junior middleweight division. And in the opening bout of the night, which, with the exception of the Clarence Booth fight, where Davriars Creighton just didn't seem like he wanted to go in there because he was saying, no, boop, 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 boop. But Selena Salazar, she's a female fighter in the featherweight division. Very nice girl. I mean, you know, you looked at her and she looked mean and intent, and all of a sudden she talked and she was just like this sweetheart. But she's out of San Antonio, Texas. She improved to 4-0 with 2 draws and a knockout now when she just overwhelmed Desiree Augusto. Now, Desiree Augusto was coming from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and she was making her pro debut. Now, before the bell rang, and this goes to show you something about fights. Before the bell rang, you know, I was looking at these 2 fighters, and I'm saying to myself, man, this is going to be an entertaining fight. There's no question about it. I mean, Augusto looked like she was ready, man. She was the shorter of the 2. She had the muscles. She was big. And Selena Salazar, she was a little taller. And, you know, she comes out, and Salazar comes out, and she had pretty technically sound stance and stuff like that. And she landed a couple. She was going to the body and then to the head, to the body and then to the head. And either she hurt Augusto with a body shot, or Augusto was nervous as hell because all of a sudden she pulled the turtle move. She went into her shell and just covered up for her dear life in the corner against her own corner, as a matter of fact. And Selena Salazar just opened up on her, landing body and head and body and head and body and head. And 48 seconds later, the fight was over. It lasted 48 seconds. Selena Salazar improved to 4-0 with a couple of draws and a knockout. And Desiree Augusto, making a pro debut, drops to 0-1. That was the card I called at Alessi Promotions. You may want to check it out, www.alessipromotions.com. And like I said, they are scheduled to do another one August 4th, and hopefully I'll be there. Now, one other fight I wanted to mention didn't take place on Friday, did not take place on Saturday, but instead took place on Thursday night. And, Sherman Tank Williams wasn't supposed to win this fight. Chauncey Welliver was, and it was for some bogus title. I don't know, IBF something or other, maybe. There was a title on the line, all right? There was a title on the line. But the bottom line is the guy who got it wasn't supposed to win it. It was supposed to stay in the hands of Welliver, but that didn't happen when Sherman Tank Williams improved to 35 wins, 11 losses, and 2 draws with 19 knockouts when he beat top 10 ranked by multiple organizations Chauncey Welliver, who dropped to 53 wins, 6 losses, and 5 draws, 20 knockouts for him. The way the judges scored it, 115-112 and 119-110, while the third one had it even at 114-114, which is a travesty. How does one judge have it at that? But nonetheless, the bottom line is that Williams now is in a shot for something, something. Remember, his last fight was that fight against Evander Holyfield, which all of us thought he was handling Holyfield pretty easily. So that wraps up the fights for the Thursday and Friday and Saturday. A couple of news, a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Mike Tyson, my man. We talked about him last week and about Spike Lee taking over his one-man show. Remember, he had the show over in Vegas. It did pretty well. Well, Spike Lee hooked him up in New York City on Broadway and set up a week engagement. Well, here's the deal. The show sold so many tickets, and the demand was so high, and it's called Mike Tyson Undisputed Truth. Well, guess what? They added another week. It originally was going to go from July 31st to August 5th. Now it's going to play through August 12th, just accommodating the pre-sale. Listen, Spike Lee knows what he's doing, and Mike Tyson is in with a good guy. I hope that he sticks around Broadway for a long time. That would be great if he's there for a year. I don't know. Mike Tyson deserves it, man. And I'll tell you something, talking about throwback, that's what they used to do, man. They used to, after they won the heavyweight title, they used to go on these vaudeville acts. And that's how they used to make the money. Go on tours, do exhibitions, just show off their belt. That's how they made money. So Mike Tyson's kind of doing that now. Speaking of New York, what do you think about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Miguel Cotto numero dos? Well, guess what? It's probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen first week in December, maybe even December 1st. Where? At Madison Square Garden in New York City. Wow. I tell you, I've been thinking about this. I heard about it, actually when I was in Tampa on Friday. And, the more I think about this, the more I like it. And speaking of Tampa and speaking about Friday, I got into a discussion with somebody. It almost turned into an argument. And, this was the first guy that actually said to me that he felt that Miguel Cotto beat Mayweather. Now, granted, I don't like Mayweather, you know that. And the thing is I have said that I thought Cotto did well against him, busted up Mayweather more than I've ever seen Mayweather get busted up. But I don't think that Cotto won the fight. I don't even think it was close. And the reason why I don't think it was close is because I felt that Cotto did not take advantage of the body work that he is so accustomed to doing. He just didn't land enough body shots. He was headhunting. He did land some of those overhand rights when Floyd was leaning his head back and stuff when he had him against the ropes. But he needed to work the body more, and he didn't do it. If you recall, Miguel Cotto was pissed off, man. And you know what the old saying is, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. But Miguel Cotto went back to Puerto Rico saying he got robbed, honestly feeling that he won the fight. Now, he has not made any plans to fight again. And a lot of people are wondering why. Well, this could be the reason why. And think about this. Think about this. What other fights for Mayweather? He's not going to go after Bradley right now because Bradley has to fight Manny Pacquiao again. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd, although I think that fight is still a viable fight, Manny needs to win. Manny needs to win another fight before he's going to get in with Floyd. I mean, it makes business sense for that. Who else is left for Floyd? They're not going to put Canelo in there. He's fighting in September. Or not September, whenever he's fighting again. Soon. So they're not that fight. When is that fight? That fight is September. Yeah, it is September. I thought it was sooner than that, but no, it's September. He's fighting in September, so that means he's definitely not going to be fighting Mayweather. But maybe Saul Alvarez, if he gets by his September fight, maybe he fights the winner of Mayweather-Cotto II. I think that's the fight for Mayweather. I mean, what other fights are there? We could say Khan, maybe. I don't know. I think Cotto deserves another shot. And I think Mayweather will give it to him because he thinks, he learned how he fought. They already fought for 12 rounds. So we'll see. We'll keep our eyes posted on that. I like it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Mayweather-Cotto II in December in New York because we know that the fans are going to be for Cotto. We know that Cotto will pack that place with crazy Puerto Ricans and all the beautiful Puerto Rican women that I love. So I mean, the bottom line is that it's going to be Cotto's house, and then people are going to say, "Oh, well, maybe Mayweather will fight outside of Las Vegas," and we'll see what happens. See what kind of juice he's got over the New York State Athletic Commission. Okay, let's face it, the New York State Athletic Commission, they're the bullies of all commissions. They like to run the show. They like to think who they are. All the non-boxing people in the New York State Boxing Commission. The guy who technically is in charge, not the actual chairperson, but the bully, the guy who thinks he's a badass. Who really doesn't know anything about the sport, aside from watching it, and he's been in his cushy job for 20 years. I wonder what kind of juice Mayweather's going to pull on him. Let's see how good he is, But we'll see what happens with that backstabber. But anyway, Mayweather-Cotto possibly in New York, December, maybe December 1st. I support it. I think it's good. I think it's good. I hope it happens. And speaking of Alvarez, well, they're still looking for somebody for him. It's up in the air. It's going to be either K9 or Slendy Lara, I think. I just hope that it's not Carlos Quintana. Nothing against Quintana. I just don't think it's going to be a competitive bout. I think everybody wants to see Slendy Lara against Alvarez. But now that it's not going to be a pay-per-view, maybe they go with a lesser opponent. Don't be surprised if it's not K9. K9 is a safe opponent for Saul. K9 will charge Saul, but Saul will be able to defend himself and put K9 out. K9 can't go past 9-10 rounds. That's it. He'll be huffing and puffing. It's unfortunate about the whole Canelo thing. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. It saddens me to have to break the news that, the World Heavyweight Championship fight between Alexander Povetkin and Hasim Rahman has been canceled. Yep, it has. It's been canceled because Rahman hurt his little arm. That's right. He hurt himself. I guess it was his hand. It wasn't his arm. But according to the WBA, Hasim Rahman had to pull out of the fight because of an injury. They were scheduled to fight next week in Hamburg, Germany. And we'll see what happens. I tell you something. Not that I'm glad that Rahman injured himself, because I don't want anybody to get injured, but except one particular person. But and no, it's not who you think. It's someone not even in boxing. But I'm kind of glad it happened, not for the injury part, but just because the fight isn't happening. I hope it doesn't happen at all. I hope they find some kind of a loophole to let Povetkin fight someone else. First of all, Povetkin shouldn't even be considered a world champion. That's first of all. Hey, and, you know, forget about the belt. Just put the belt on hold for a minute. He's not even good enough to be a world champion. He's not. You know, and I know that people say, oh, you're too hard on Alexander Povetkin. Yeah, well, you know what? The guy's a bum. I don't mean, you know, of course he beats my ass. And, of course, he's, you know, one of the better heavyweights. But, you know, he's not that good. He's not that good. You know, and to fight Rahman, you know, further backs up that statement by me. You know, I mean, Rahman is a fraud. Rahman made his whole career out of one fight, one punch. Who's he fought? Who did he fight to become the mandatory number one contender for Povetkin? Who did he fight? Come on, man. Who did he fight? Go punch him up. Go punch Hasim Rahman up. And go all the way back to the fight I actually called when he fought Shannon Miller in Buffalo, up near Buffalo. And then look at the list of opponents he's fought since then. Even the two fights before the Shannon Miller fight. Who's he fought? And the WBA makes him mandatory for fighting those fights? Come on, man. Come on. Even as bad as Povetkin is, you need to put him in with a better fight than that. You know, at least that's my opinion. Vitaly Klitschko, who has the WBC heavyweight crown, you know, he thought that, you know, his final swan song of a fight, which many believe will be his last fight, will be taking place this September, either the 1st or the 8th. They thought that it would be taking place in Kiev. But they at the Olympic Stadium, but they said no. They said it's not happening. The fight that they're talking about, it was announced a couple of weeks ago that Manuel Char was the guy. A lot of us believe that that's a terrible fight, but if it indeed is Vitaly's last professional fight, then I give him an okay. If it's not his last fight, if it's not his bon voyage fight, then he needed to fight somebody else. But if it's just his last, see you later, I had a great career, I'm truly hanging him up, and I'm going to fight this undefeated fighter, then I say it's okay. I say it's okay. But we know one thing, it's not going to be in Kiev. That's that we know. So we'll see what happens there. Hey, listen, I'm going to take a break. When I come back, got some Chavez Jr. news, and former WBC light heavyweight world champion Clinton Woods had some stuff to say about the United States and all of these what appears to be steroid-using boxers. He's got some thoughts on that, and all of that's coming up in about 2.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the number 1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette, he's just a buttonette, coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. If you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. Whew. All the information about the channel, you can find it on their website, www.fightnow.com. Hey, before anybody sends me the emails that I'm a moron and don't know what I'm talking about, I know I said Ruslan Provodnikov should fight Kelly Pavlik. I did not mean him. I made a mistake. For some reason, I always get him and Vlasov confused. I think they look a little like each other. And, he's a middleweight that, or actually a super middleweight that just signed with Cameron Duncan. And I would like to see him fight Kelly Pavlik. But unfortunately, Kelly Pavlik is going to be fighting this weekend. And he's going to be taking on a Will Rowinski fight. Now, Will Rowinski, he's a tough kid. He's a DeBella guy, and he's 16-1. I don't know, man. It's going to be on HBO. I don't know. This is what I can't stand about the WBC. Saul Alvarez wanted to fight Austin Trout. Now, Austin, no doubt, Trout, did not put on a great performance in his last outing, but he won. And, that performance probably made Canelo Alvarez chomping at the bit to get a shot at Trout. But unfortunately, because Canelo is the junior middleweight champion for the WBC told Canelo, sorry, man, you can't fight Austin Trout because we don't unify. That sucks. Because even though Trout isn't exactly a killer, so to speak, it would have been nice to see a unification. What would have been even nicer is for Saul Alvarez to take the Trout fight and give up the WBC. What we need to do, and what the fighters and the networks need to do, is to rip some of this juice out of the hands of the WBC, because basically what they're doing is one of two things. Saul Alvarez is doing one of two things. Either they're going to hide behind the WBC and say, we really do want to fight Trout, but because he's got a belt, we can't. Or they're going to say, screw you, we don't need your belt, and take the money fight against Trout. I think the WBC is hurting boxing more than it's helping, even though it's come up with some good ideas. As a matter of fact, we had the unification bout, which took place last week when Kazuto Ioka, the 105-pound champion out of Japan, he had won the he had the WBC belt, and then he won the WBA belt when he beat Akira Yagigashi last week, and actually 2 weeks ago. And here's the bottom line, is that the WBC said to Ioka, hey, you're going to have to give up the WBA belt because we don't believe in unifications. And I love what Kazuto Ioka said. He said, screw you, WBC. Here's your piece of garbage belt. And he decided to keep the WBA belt because the WBA, although I don't think that they're that great, they do not stand in the way of unification bouts. And I like the fighters that their mind is on unifying titles. So my hat's off to Ioka and the WBC. I hope more and more fighters do this to you, WBC, because it makes me sick. Clinton Woods, former world light heavyweight champ, might as well keep bashing the WBC. He was a former WBC champ. He says in an interview last week, he said, I'm not surprised that Antonio Tarver and some other prominent American boxers are being tested and finding out that they're dirty. He says, I fought in America 3 times, and the testing situation was always a joke. He said, in 3 fights, I had one little test, and I was told it was only for marijuana. It's always annoyed me how American boxing is with drugs and steroids, but at least they're cracking down now, and we see people are being caught. The trouble is that people there will only get fined pocket money. He's right. He's right. The penalties should be a lot stiffer. And I know some of the fans have been saying, some of the fans of the show have been saying they should be banned for life and all that stuff. Well, I agree. They should be banned for life, but we need to define the testing practice first. Then we tell everybody, okay, this is what we test. This is how we test. This is your choices, And by the way, if you test positive, you're banned from the sport for life. So you better make sure you're clean. That's what they got to do. They can't just all of a sudden do it, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Sergio Martinez, their fight is set. That's right. Their fight is set. It's going to be taking place in the fall. And apparently they're beginning their tour next Tuesday in Los Angeles, California. Then they're going to go to Las Vegas, then New York, and then Mexico. And that's going to be the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th, tentatively. So we'll keep you posted on that. And interesting email from Given Quality saying that the WBC is going to start ordering same-day weigh-ins. And the interesting fact is, are they going to do it after the fight with Sergio Martinez for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? Because we all know that this guy can't make 160 pounds and be able to fight. He can only make the weigh-in and then rehydrate for the next day. So it'll probably go in effect after that fight. So, speaking of fights, it looks like Tyson Marquez is going to be taking on Brian Valoria in September. At least it's very close to being signed. The champion currently, the WBA flyweight champ, is Herman Tyson Marquez, and the WBO flyweight champ is Brian Valoria. Again, two organizations that are not afraid to unify titles, and it looks like the fight may take place in September. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. There's only one little stumbling block. Tyson Marquez had a mandatory challenge for the WBA in Juan Carlos Revco, and he may have to give up that belt, the WBA belt. The truth of the matter is this, more people want to see Herman Tyson Marquez fight Brian Valoria than they want to see Marquez fight Juan Carlos Revco. If I'm Revco, I sign and get some step-aside money and take the winner. So he's guaranteed two titles, a shot at two titles regardless of who wins. But that's my opinion. It looks like we'll hear more about that one soon. They're looking at possibly the end of September, early October for that fight. So, and either in Mexico or Los Angeles, California. And speaking of titles, how about Juan Manuel Marquez? He won another title. That's right. Over the weekend, or I should say Friday, he won another title. Nah, you didn't miss something. You didn't crawl out from under a rock. Timothy Bradley, which we knew was going to happen, had to give up one of his titles. He gave up the junior welterweight belt, which we knew was going to happen because very rarely do you see a fighter win a belt and then give up the lower class one, especially since he had a rematch clause to fight Pacquiao. So he officially gave up his WBO junior welterweight belt. Therefore, the WBO decided that they're going to elevate Juan Manuel Marquez, who was their interim WBO title holder, to the real WBO title holder. So that's that. And that's what they should do. I think that's what they should do with interim belts. Interim belts should only be for a temporary situation, whether it's due to injury or in a case like this, So anyway, so officially that makes Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and Jorge Arce the only three Mexican fighters who have held 4 world titles in 4 different weight classes, which does not include the interim belt. So congratulations to Juan Manuel Marquez for winning the belt without putting his gloves on. Johnny Gonzalez is a guy that is supposed to be fighting, or Celestino Caballero's been talking some smack to him. And Johnny Gonzalez says, hey, listen, I got a fight with Ponce de Leon, who's a real fighter, a real champion, and I'm focused on him. He's fighting on September 15th against Ponce de Leon. He says, and after that fight, when that's over, then let's get it on with you, Celestino Caballero. If I'm Caballero, a guy that really has one signature win in his career. I mean, in my opinion, what catapulted this guy into stardom was a win over a fraud of a fighter in Steve Molitor. Who? That's right. When was the last time that bum fought? Aside from that, Celestino Caballero hasn't done that great. But Johnny Gonzalez is a guy that was a world champion. Everybody wrote him off, and he's come back stronger than ever. And right now, to tell you the truth, I think he is the best featherweight in the division right now. Who's better than Johnny Gonzalez? If I'm Celestino Caballero, I better stop it. I might get what I'm asking for too soon. So we'll have to wait and see. We're going to see what happens with Antonio DeMarco. He's trying to get a tune-up fight for July 28th. He's got another fight set. Gary Shaw is trying to get involved. All this happy stuff. So Antonio DeMarco, I would just fight, man. Just fight. Speaking about fights, now we all know who Joe Louis was, right? Well, he's got a couple of sons too. Now he's got Joe Louis Barrow, who's this. You want to get confused? There's two Joe Louis Barrows. Joe Louis Barrow II, which should not be confused with Joe Louis Barrow Jr., who is Joe Louis's older son. And this is Joe Louis Barrow II is actually Joe Louis Barrow Jr.'s brother. I mean, that's like George Foreman. He names all his kids George Foreman, But anyway, Joe Louis Barrow, the number 2, which really should be number 3 because Junior's number 2. He says he was just appointed to the World Boxing Union as the president. That's the bottom line. The WBU was a big and recognized organization at one time, especially in the 1970s and 80s. And what's happened is the organization kind of went down in a turlet, and Joe Louis Barrow, number 2, decides that he's going to change things around. He was elected as the president, and he's starting to get his board of directors in place, and he's reaching out for people like Lou Marciano Jr., the nephew of Rocky Marciano, Senator John McCain, Irish Mickey Ward, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, Tommy the Hitman Hearns, Vinny Pazienza, Larry Holmes. These are all guys that are going to be part of his board of directors. He says he wants to bring credibility back to the WBO. Well, just make sure these guys know what's going on. And, hey, let's see what happens. I tell you what, you're talking about credibility. We've kidded around, WBF is one of those organizations. And, Sue Fox from WBAN, she said, we were talking about the WBF one day, and she says, yeah, you know what the WBF stands for? I was like, what? She says, Wannabe Federation or Wannabe Foundation or something. But, I've learned a lot about the WBF the last couple of months, and I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. The WBF is really making some huge strides, and as a matter of fact, some of their rules and regulations have changed so much that it's kind of like an organization. You guys have heard me promote the IBO, and the reason I like them is it's the guy who beat the guy mentality, and these interim belts are only there if there's an injury or something. Well, the WBF is following suit, and I think we need change. I think the WBC has really polluted the sport of boxing. And, the IBF has always been a joke. The WBA has been very corrupt. The WBO has quietly risen to the top. The IBO is gaining notoriety as well. And, the WBF and maybe even, who knows, maybe this WBU, maybe it is time to make a change and get some of these guys up at the top. I mean, I'm, for one, I do not believe in extra sanctioning bodies, that's for sure. I definitely don't. but I want to have sanctioning bodies that are fair. I want to have these sanctioning bodies. I mean, if you do have to have multiple champions, at least let them fight each other. At least unify the title. There'll be an opportunity to strip a title or to give up a title down the road or whatever, but at least give these guys a chance to unify them, because it means so much more to the fighters themselves to be a unified champion. The WBF has reached out to me personally, and I'm evaluating some of their practices and stuff like that, and I may want to get involved with them, and I'm looking for some input. So let me know what you guys think of the WBF, and some of the changes that you may or may not have seen. Check out their website and see what you think, because some of the stuff that I've learned about them is pretty good. Now I'm having a hard time getting past the Evander Holyfield as the champion at one point and everything else, but that's all changed. I mean, it's all changed within the last 12 months. So I'm going to see. Maybe if I can get on board in some way, shape, or form, maybe I can help. With some of the reform that they're talking about. So I don't know. Give me your input. What do you think? Just drop me an email, Billy@TalkingBoxing, TalkingBoxing.com. Tomasz Adamek, he's returning to the ring September 8th, except it's not going to be against Eddie Chambers. Now, Eddie Chambers, a lot of people think Eddie Chambers won that fight. Eddie Chambers thinks that he got robbed. Said he beat him with one hand because he injured his arm. Well, here's the thing. Adamek is going to be fighting, and he's going to be fighting on September 8th. It's going to be in New Jersey again at the Prudential Center. But here's the catch. It's going to be during the day. That's right. It's going to be like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Why? Because they're going to be doing a pay-per-view for Poland. So you're going to be able to check it out live in New Jersey on September 8th in the afternoon, or you could be in Poland or somewhere else watching a pay-per-view. Now, they were talking about a fight with Eddie Chambers. They want to have a rematch, but not for this one, because Eddie Chambers won't be ready to fight. Eddie Chambers, come on. I'm not so sure he's still got anything left. Whatever. I think he should be in the cruiserweight division, but that's my opinion. The United States boxing team, which is sending a team to the Olympics next month. That's right, 1 month from now, to London. Did you realize, which I didn't, is that we didn't even have a coach? We didn't have a boxing coach. And they finally picked one. USA Boxing chose Bashir Abdullah, who is now the officially been named the coach of our 2012 Olympic team that we're sending over to London in a month. So congratulations to Bashir Abdullah. But what a joke that is, that it took us 1 month before. Half the problem that we have in this sport is that we don't have good teachers. We don't have youth programs that are teaching our boxers how to fight. And too often than not do we see these young fighters coming out with these bad habits. Now, you can't blame all the bad habits on the lack of training, because some of the scoring systems for amateur fighting is ridiculous as well. So there's so many different reasons why we have trouble. But man, you figure that an Olympic team is important, and you wait 1 month. The USA Boxing waits 1 month before the Olympics to pick a coach. So what's that going to do to the team? They've all been training, getting ready. They already won they already have the team, right? The team's already picked. And who they've been training with. Now all of a sudden you're going to put this guy in as the master trainer. The master blaster. But anyway, Hollywood, California, is going to be the home of a boxing event, a bumper bill, if you will. 10 bouts are going to be going. Now, the Hollywood Legion Stadium, which is located on Gower and El Centro Streets, was a legendary place from the end of World War II all the way through the 1950s and into the 60s. Was where the majority of boxing shows were held in California. And they're going to pick that up, man. That's right, because on July 12th, Art of Boxing Promotions is going to be starting a series, and they're going to be kicking it off with this first bumper bill on July 12th. So I'll be looking forward to that. I'm glad that that they're doing that because we need as many shows as we possibly can. So we'll see what happens there. And, when you're looking at these fighters that fought, in these cards in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, I mean, some of the people that used to go there all the time to watch the fights, Humphrey Bogart, Clark Gable, Rudolph Valentino, Errol Flynn, some girl named Norma Jean Barker. You know who she was, right? That was my girl, man, Marilyn Monroe. They all used to go. So we'll see what happens. I know some young fighters are going to be on that card, and I'll keep you posted as we get closer to it. Who's who on there? The United Promoters Association. They are trying to get public trust and transparency. This is all in as continued fallout for the Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley situation. Joe DeGuardia, who's the president of the United Promoters Association, is trying to get everybody together in terms of it's actually called the Boxing Promoters Association. Sorry. To demand that we have competent judges and all that stuff in our sport. So congratulations to him. 2 weeks ago, I talked about Top Rank signing Jesse Vargas. And, I'm still shocked over that. I'm still shocked over Jesse Vargas jumping ship. Now, I know you got to think about, what's good for you and all of this stuff. And Jesse Vargas might have thought that, he got the best deal with Top Rank. But, man, as much as I hate Floyd Mayweather, what a slap in the face that is for him. Here they move him up, they brag about him, they help him get to where he is, and that's how he treats them. It's terrible. Here's some stuff going on this weekend. Nonito Donaire and Jeffrey Matabula, that's taking place July 7th. That's going to be a good fight. We'll see how Donaire fights on that night. Kell Brook against Carson Jones, that also is on July 7th. I'm looking forward to that. On July 7th, Vlad Klitschko and Tony Thompson are going to be getting it on for the second time. Well, actually, didn't he fight? He might have fought Vitali in the first one. Did he? Well, now I'm getting confused. No, I think he did fight Vlad. Either way, they're fighting again. Either way, Tony Thompson and Vladimir Klitschko are fighting July 7th. So we'll wait for that one. Some other fights that are going to be taking place on July 7th. In the middleweight division, Chris Fitzpatrick against Patrick Majowski. Two once-beaten fighters. Majowski's 18-1. Chris Fitzpatrick's 15-1-1. That's going to be taking place in Atlantic City. Vinny Matalone is going to London to take on a pretty big guy named Tyson Fury. That's right, July 7th. So we'll see what happens in that one. And we got the Kelly Pavlik against Will Rowinski fight, which is going to be on HBO on July 7th as well. July 6th, this is the heavyweight Maurice Freight Train Bryan is going to be looking to redeem himself after losing to Brian Jennings on NBC. And Javier Fortuna and Cristobal Cruz, July 6th as part of Friday Night Fights. That's going to be a good one. Looking forward to that. So we got some decent fights coming up for this United States, anyway, holiday weekend. So we'll be looking forward to that and hoping that we got some good stuff to talk about on Monday. Don't forget, programming note, we will not be doing a live show on Wednesday, but you got to tune in to Fight Now. They will have a show to show. But Wednesday's 4th of July. I plan on lighting some fireworks. Maybe I'll come in with one of my two hands come Thursday morning.
Wake up. It's time for the... It's too early for a trivia question.
Now, today's It's Too Early for a Trivia question is being brought to us by Gleason's Gym. And we're definitely hoping that you get involved with their Gleason's Gym's Boxing Fantasy Camp, which is taking place August 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. You can sign up today by visiting our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the Gleason's Gym banner and sign up. And then as soon as you sign up for the Boxing Fantasy Camp, I want you to drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. And I'm going to put your name in a hat. We're going to follow you around, do some stories, all that stuff, get some footage, audio, and video, and follow you through your whole experience at Gleason. So we're looking forward to that. So make sure you sign up today, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the Gleason's Gym banner. Or you can call yourself, 718-797-2872. That's 718-797-2872, and that's Gleason's Gym. Hey, before I read the trivia question today, for anyone that's out there that has been wanting to write or cover fights or something like that, do me a favor, drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. We're expanding. I want some more writers involved. I don't care where you're located, anywhere on the planet. If you're interested, even if you've never done it before, drop me an email and I can give you details on that. Email me directly, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. Okay, here's the trivia question. Who fought in the most fights from 1960 through 1969? Who fought in the most fights from 1960 through 1969? Now, what's on the line is your very own copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game. It's a simulation game. You can put Mike Tyson up against John L. Sullivan. You could put Jersey Joe Walcott up against Muhammad Ali. You could put Rocky Marciano up against, Billy C. You can create your own fighters even. Yes, you can do it all. It's not a graphic game. It's a simulation game. You can run the fight 1,000 times and see what the computer says. They've been keeping track of statistics for this game since the early 70s. It's the most extensive stat-filled game you're going to find. It's about $40, and it can be yours if you know this answer. Who fought in the most fights from 1960 through 1969? If you got it, email it to me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. And if you're the first one, I'm going to give you the prize. That's it. Who fought in the most fights from 1960 through 1969? Good luck to everybody. Email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com.
This day in boxing history.
And this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, I don't know, if you got a contract, if you got real estate, if you got matrimonial issues, even criminal law, you need to keep the lawyers that keep my ass out of trouble. That's Campanaro and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. Tell them Billy C sent you, and that I'm going to pick up the consultation fee. 845-221-4099 is how you can get a hold of them. Don't forget, we got thumbs up, thumbs down immediately following the show. So if you're listening live, don't go nowhere. And if you're not listening live, go check it out. If you haven't seen or listened to thumbs up, thumbs down, you can get it on a podcast. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on BillyCBoxing.com. So check it out. On this day, July 2nd, in 1996, Vincenzo Nardello wins a 12-round decision over Sugar Boy Malinga to win the WBC World Super Middleweight title, and that took place on this day, July 2nd, in 1996, in Manchester, England. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. Glad to be back. Took a couple of days off. Don't forget, Wednesday, we will not be doing a live show, but we'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here Thursday. We'll be here Friday. We'll be here every other day. Hey, it's the United States, Independence Day, 4th of July. We're off, but we want you to tune in anyway to Fight Now. I got one more thing to say. You know what it is? Come on, you know what it is. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. The Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider right now and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call them. You can find out all the information about Fight Now by visiting our website, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.